Hi, this is Keith Williams from 5 Watt World. Join PJ and the Beard on this brief trip down the historical rabbit hole that is St. Louis music.
A huge thank you to Keith Williams for joining us on this journey about St. Louis music and other things. If you've played a Yari, an Alvarez, an Electra, a West Tone, an Ampeg, or a Crate, you already know something about St. Louis music that you didn't even realize.
Right. And this new series is about the Electra Distortion. But in researching that, we've decided we really cannot start talking about it until we jump down the historical rabbit hole that is St. Louis music. A story really worthy of being on Keith Williams' 5 Watt World.
The origins of St. Louis music can be traced back to the time when the 10-year-old Bernard Kornblum fell in love with the violin. His family then immigrated to the United States. He learned English in school, and one day he saw an advertisement for a German wholesaler that was selling violins. So he thought he could turn this into a business. He orders the violins and realizes because of the depreciation of the Deutsche Mark, he got a lot of bang for his buck. And 83 years later, that business is still in place.
Right, and it's such a crazy story. You get the idea these were amazing people. He was an amazing man. There's so much of the story we want to tell, but we're trying to keep the historical rabbit hole short. So let's pick up there. Mom, this is like 1922. Mom says to him, all of his violins are sitting in her living room. She says, get out, take these out. So
take all your stuff out of the room.
Right. And so he finds this little place downtown, moves into that. In 1923, his sister Erna joins him. A year later, his brother David joins them. They're called Kornblum Brothers Music at that time. Whole lot of other really interesting things happen that I'd love to share, so you should look up the story. But in 1921, the stock market crashes. Erna's running the business. The brothers are like over in Europe playing, and she sees that there's another stock market crash. You would think this would really affect them, but she sees a business in bankruptcy. So she buys this business going into bankruptcy. It's called St. Louis Music. It's a sheet music distributor. They now have sheet music as part of their catalog, and they keep the name, and that's when St. Louis music became a thing.
It's amazing. Now we fast forward to 1935, where Bernard felt compelled to write to his German wholesalers, given the situation in Germany. And I quote from his letter, "The whole civilized world is looking with horror at the actions of your government. You're probably not aware of this because your papers are all censored and you can only report things which are favorable." So he felt strongly enough about what was going on with Germany so that does not align with what St. Louis music wants to be.
Right. And things get even worse in 1941. So after the attack of Pearl Harbor, all imports stop, which is the main part of their business. Not only that, all manufacturing of musical instruments in the United States stops to support the war effort. So what do? So instead of being the end of St. Louis music, they turn to just totally change their business model and start selling writing instruments, start selling paint, start selling fine leather goods, and continue to do that till after the war, at which point they drop all those lines and go right back to musical instruments.
So in 1961, Bernard's son Gene officially joined the company as a full-time employee. He quickly realized that they needed to do something to differentiate themselves from other distributors in this crowded field. He had to find a creative way to do this.
Yeah, so one of the ways would be to start making your own product. Every distributor is buying other people's things and selling it. Gene wants to start having their own product lines. In 1964, they become a exclusive distributor for Trixon drums. Shortly after that, Gene meets with Japanese luthier Kazuo Yari, and they develop the Alvarez Yari line of guitars. In the early 70s, Gene then comes up with some other creative ideas. They start shipping all their stringed instruments in, missing fittings, missing strings, and they do that in their own shop. As far as guitars go, they start shipping guitars in and checking playability, checking intonation, and setting them up in the shop too. Something that we see in places like the Paul Reed Smith plant in Maryland happening right now. So many other cool innovations have taken place in St. Louis music over the years. We wish we had time to do them all right now, but we might have time to do more of them in the future. Right now, we're going to jump ahead to 1975. In 1975, a salesman by the name of Kurt Trainer calls up Gene Kornblum and says, "We need a guitar that makes all kinds of crazy sounds." Gene goes to John Karpowitz, and that's where our story will begin.
So you've learned about the origins of St. Louis music. Now join us and a host of others as we go down the rabbit hole that is the Electra Distortion.
The Electra Distortion has long been a popular circuit in the DIY community. Learn how in 1976, St. Louis music engineered the most tone from the least circuit and inspired many future pedals.